late August, looking at a tomato plant that has given you everything it had, only to realize you have nothing to show for it but empty vines and a handful of spent cash. You can smell it, can't you? That faint, sweet rot of overripe fruit hitting the hot dirt. You see the skin splitting, the juice running out into the dust, wasted. And inside, there is that heavy, sinking feeling in your gut. It isn't just about the lost vegetable. It is about the lost potential. It is about the packet of seeds you bought in March, the ones that cost you $5, maybe 10, promising you a bounty that never quite arrived because the genetics were weak, or the season was short, or the soil was tired. You feel foolish. You feel like you failed. But I am here to tell you, with all the plain truth I possess, that the failure is not yours. The failure belongs to a system that has convinced you that seeds are a product to be consumed, rather than a heritage to be stewarded. You have been taught to buy, to use, and to discard. You have been taught that next year requires a new purchase, a new dependency, a new transaction. But there is an old way, a way that my grandfather's grandfather knew before there were grocery stores, before there were plastic packets, before there was any need to trust a stranger with the future of your food. By the time we are done here, you will not just know how to save a seed. You will understand the fermentation trick, the biological key that unlocks the true strength of the tomato, and you will never buy a tomato seed again. Not because you are cheap, but because you are wise. I am Isaac Beiler, and I keep house and farm here in Lancaster County the way it was handed down to me before the world got so fast. We do not rush the seasons here. We do not rush the soil, and we certainly do not rush the truth. If you value this kind of plain, practical know-how that the world is trying to bury, I would ask you to subscribe to this channel. It helps us keep these old traditions alive for the next generation, so that when the supply chains break, as they often do, our children will know how to feed themselves. Now, one honest word so you trust me. Saving seeds is not magic. It is work. It is messy. It smells bad for a few days. If you are looking for a clean, sterile, quick fix, you are in the wrong place. But if you are willing to get your hands dirty and trust the process of nature, even the ugly parts, then what I am about to share with you will change how you eat for the rest of your life. This is not theory. This is what works in the dirt, in the heat, and in the cold. You must understand why you have been kept in the dark about this. The modern market runs on waste. It runs on the idea that you are incapable, that you are too busy, too confused, or too unskilled to manage your own biology. Big agricultural brands and grocery chains profit from your ignorance. They sell you hybrid seeds that are designed to produce one good crop and then fail, forcing you to return to the store. They sell you tomatoes that look perfect on the shelf, but taste like water and cardboard because they were bred for shipping, not for eating. They have created a cycle of dependency that costs you hundreds of dollars a year, while they dump millions of tons of organic matter into landfills. They call it efficiency. I call it theft. They steal your independence and sell it back to you in a plastic bag. Plain knowledge, the kind we practice here, costs only pocket change. It costs a jar, some water, and a little patience. It returns power to your hands. When you save your own seeds, you are breaking the chain. You are selecting for the plants that thrive in your specific soil, in your specific climate, under your specific care. You are creating a lineage of food that knows your land. That is something no corporation can sell you. To do this right, you must follow 7 verified rules. These are not suggestions. They are the laws of horticulture mixed with the wisdom of the barn. Rule number 1 is to choose the right mother. Do not save seeds from the first tomato that ripens, nor the last. The first fruit is often small and carries the stress of the plant's early struggle. The last fruit may be weak, rushed by the coming frost. You want the fruit from the middle of the season, from the strongest branch, on the healthiest plant. Look for a tomato that is fully ripe, heavier than it looks, and free of blemishes. When you hold it, it should feel dense, like a stone wrapped in velvet. This density tells you the plant had enough water and nutrients to fill the cells completely. Scientifically, this ensures the embryo inside the seed has reached full maturity. If the fruit is underripe, the seed coat is soft and vulnerable to mold. If it is overripe, the seeds may have already begun to germinate inside the fruit, which ruins their storage potential. Use your eyes. Look for symmetry. A lopsided tomato often indicates poor pollination, which can lead to weak offspring. Choose the beauty that comes from health, not the uniformity that comes from a factory. Rule number 2 is the harvest timing. You must let the tomato sit on the counter for 3 to 5 days after picking it. This seems counterintuitive. You want to eat it now. But wait. This resting period allows the sugars to concentrate and the gelatinous sac surrounding the seed to fully develop. This gel is crucial. It contains germination inhibitors that prevent the seed from sprouting while still inside the moist environment of the fruit. In nature, this ensures the seed doesn't grow until it is expelled and dried. By letting the fruit rest, you ensure these chemical signals are strong. When you cut the tomato, do not use a serrated knife. Use a smooth blade, or simply tear it open with your hands over a bowl. The goal is to collect every bit of pulp and juice. Do not rinse the seeds yet. Do not pick them out one by one. That is a fool's errand. Scoop the entire mass, seeds, gel, juice, and pulp, into a glass jar. Glass is essential. Plastic can retain odors and static that might interfere with the process. Fill the jar no more than halfway to allow for air circulation. Rule number 3 is the fermentation itself. This is the step most people skip because it is unpleasant. Add a small amount of water to the jar, just enough to loosen the mass if it is very thick, but do not drown it. Cover the jar with a breathable cloth or a coffee filter secured with a rubber band. Do not use a solid lid. The fermentation process produces gases, primarily carbon dioxide and small amounts of alcohol and acetic acid. If you seal it, the pressure will build and the jar could burst. Or worse, the anaerobic environment will encourage the growth of harmful bacteria like botulism. Place the jar in a warm spot, out of direct sunlight, for 3 to 4 days. You will see bubbles. You will smell it. It will smell like sour vinegar, like old sauerkraut, like something dying. This is good. This smell is the scent of success. The fermentation breaks down the gelatinous coating around the seeds. This coating contains the germination inhibitors I mentioned earlier. If you do not remove this coating, the seeds may rot in storage or fail to sprout next spring. The beneficial bacteria and yeasts in the air and on the fruit consume the gel, leaving the seeds clean. It is nature's way of washing the seed without water. Monitor it daily. If a layer of white or gray mold forms on top, skim it off. It is harmless surface mold. But if the mixture turns black or smells like rotten eggs, discard it. That is decay, not fermentation. Rule number 6 is the separation. After 3 or 4 days, when the bubbling stops and the smell is sharply acidic, it is time to wash. Fill the jar with cool water. Stir it vigorously. The good seeds, the viable ones, are dense and will sink to the bottom. The bad seeds, the hollow ones, the chaff, and the remaining pulp will float to the top. This is physics. Density determines viability. Carefully pour off the floating debris. Repeat this process 3 or 4 times until the water runs clear and only the heavy seeds remain at the bottom. Do not be gentle. Agitate them. You want to remove every trace of the fermented gel. Any residue left behind will cause mold during storage. Once the water is clear, pour the seeds into a fine mesh strainer. Rinse them one last time under running water. Shake off the excess moisture. Rule number 5 is the drying. This is where most beginners fail. They dry the seeds in the sun, or on a paper towel in a humid room, or in an oven. All of these are mistakes. Sunlight can damage the embryo's DNA through UV radiation. Heat can cook the seed. Humidity invites mold. You must dry the seeds slowly, in the shade, with good air circulation. Spread the seeds out on a ceramic plate, a glass dish, or a piece of window screen. Do not use paper towels, as the seeds will stick to the fibers and tear when you try to remove them. Label the plate immediately with the variety and the date. Memory is a liar. Write it down. Place the plate in a dry, well-ventilated room, away from drafts. Stir the seeds gently twice a day to ensure they dry evenly and do not clump together. This process takes 1 to 2 weeks. The seeds are ready when they are hard and brittle. If you bend one, it should snap, not flex. If it bends, it is still wet. Wet seeds will rot in storage. There is no remedy for rot. Rule number 6 is the storage. Once the seeds are bone dry, place them in an airtight container. Small glass jars with tight sealing lids are best. Add a packet of silica gel or a few grains of uncooked rice to absorb any residual moisture. Store the jars in a cool, dark, and dry place. A basement shelf or a cupboard away from the stove is ideal. Heat and light are the enemies of longevity. Properly stored tomato seeds can remain viable for 5 to 10 years, though their germination rate will decline slightly each year. I recommend using them within 3 years for the best results. Keep a log. Note which varieties performed well. Did the plant resist blight? Did it produce early? Did the flavor hold up in sauce? This data is your breeding program. You are not just saving seeds, you are adapting your food to your life. Rule number 7 is the testing. Before you plant your entire stock next spring, test a small sample. Place 10 seeds on a damp paper towel, fold it, and place it in a sealed plastic bag in a warm spot. Check it after 5 days. If 8 or 9 sprout, your viability is high. If fewer than 5 sprout, sow them thicker next year or consider refreshing your stock. This simple test saves you the heartbreak of planting a whole row of nothing. It confirms that your fermentation and drying processes were successful. It gives you confidence, and confidence in the garden is half the harvest. Now let us speak of what most people throw away. The pulp, the skins, the juice that remains after you have taken the seeds. In a kitchen run with care, there is no such thing as garbage. This leftover material is rich in lycopene, antioxidants, and flavor. Do not toss it. Strain it through a cheesecloth. The liquid can be reduced into a potent tomato essence, a base for soups and stews that carries the deep umami richness of the vine. The solids, the skins and remaining flesh, can be dehydrated and ground into a tomato powder. This powder is a secret weapon in winter cooking. It adds depth to bread dough, richness to gravies, and a burst of summer sun to bland winter vegetables. It is medicine for the soul and the body. To throw this away is to insult the plant that gave its life for you. We take everything. We waste nothing. This is the Amish way. This is the way of respect. When you honor the whole plant, you honor the earth that grew it, and the earth notices. It responds to care with abundance. Let us look at the numbers plainly. A packet of heirloom tomato seeds costs between $3 and $5. It contains perhaps 20 to 30 seeds. If you buy fresh tomatoes in the store, you pay $2 to $3 per pound, often for fruit that was picked green and gassed to turn red. If you grow your own from saved seeds, your cost per plant is zero after the first year. A single healthy tomato plant can produce 10 to 20 pounds of fruit. If you save seeds from just 3 plants, you have enough seeds for next year, and the year after, and the year after that. Over 5 years, a family that grows 10 tomato plants a year saves hundreds of dollars. But the real savings are not in dollars. They are in health. You know exactly what went into that soil. You know no synthetic pesticides were sprayed yesterday to keep the bugs off. You know the nutrient density is high because the fruit ripened on the vine. For children, this is invaluable. When a child plants a seed they saved from a tomato they ate, they learn a lesson that no textbook can teach. They learn that life comes from life. They learn patience. They learn that effort yields reward. In a world of instant gratification, this is a radical act. It grounds them. It connects them to the rhythm of the earth. It teaches them that they are not just consumers, but creators. So I ask you now, where are you? Tell me in the comments what state you are in, what county, and how old your house is. I read every word. I want to know who is listening, who is ready to take back their independence. If you are in Pennsylvania, maybe we are neighbors. If you are in California, maybe you are fighting different pests, but the principle is the same. Share your location, share your story. Let us build a community of growers, not just buyers. And if you found value in this plain talk, if you felt the truth of it in your bones, subscribe to this channel. Help us keep these old traditions alive. The world is getting faster, louder, and more confusing. But here, in the quiet of the garden, with a jar of fermenting seeds on the counter, there is clarity, there is hope, there is food. Go forth and save your seeds. The future is waiting in that jar.